Hey, what's up, guys? Blue Lightning back. So what are we going to talk about today? Fixing the TCG as a whole. So, before we get started, take this time to shout out to everybody that has helped, and to all you fans out there, to all the Yu-Gi-Oh players. Your support is very much appreciated, and you liking the channel as well. Let's get right on into this. Now, we've previously talked about this briefly in another video. I like to do more in detail, just to get, maybe also some of your guys' thoughts too. Let's start with number one. Better consistent rulings. A lot of rulings, they have like gray areas and stuff like that, and they have rulings where you don't know what you like, when to activate it, how to activate it. It's not just going by what like the card says so much. I mean, yeah, go by what the card says, but semicolon, colon, BS, no. If you have better consistent rulings and people that know what they're doing, you'll be able to get the right ruling that won't screw you over. An example would be when I played against Pearly. He had some of the big Pearly, and I was using Magic Specters. I had used Tempest to stop its effect. Well, even though it says it can't be affected, a counter trap is more affecting, is faster than a monster effect. So, and the judge sided with him. You can't have rulings like that when the rules say a card is faster than another card, but you still, it's a gray area. Like, yeah, the big Pearly says it's unaffected, but the counter trap is faster. So, better consistent rulings and a lot clearer rulings. Let's get into number two. Giving lesser known archetypes or existing archetypes better, more, and new support. An example of this would be Element Sabers. You desperately need new support. An existing archetype that actually is getting new support is Atlanteans. They're getting better support. I always did like Atlanteans. But pure Atlanteans. I'm more of an old school player, and I tend to keep the decks pure. Depending. I'm not a fan of mermails, and I mean, they're powerful, but I don't think they're worth running in Atlanteans. Phone slipping. Number three, reducing prices, making decks affordable. There's no reason a deck, even a topping deck, should be $400 to $1,000. Yes, I know they're trying to sell products. They're trying to boost everything. Still, especially for new players. And this also ties in, number three ties in with another number in this later on. This, making decks affordable should be one of the top priorities Konami has, considering that they want new players to join. They want new people to come in. Well, a new player is not gonna, unless they're rich or something, or they have a good job, they're not gonna be able to spend like $400 on a deck. It is ridiculous. pricing is just like way over, like, and I get it. I get it. You want to make a profit. You want to be able to get your money's worth. But for a deck, especially a topping deck, you don't want to be buying, like, you don't want to give an arm and a leg just to get that. Number 4, and this is a controversial one, getting rid of the ban list altogether. Because if people are tired of like certain decks topping like Snake Eyes and getting run over by like different like 3 or 4 decks, then just get rid of the ban list. Because if you get rid of the ban list, everybody's gonna be on equal foot. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of decks that would go like ham, and a lot of decks that would be overwhelmingly OP and powerful, but everybody would virtually be on equal footing and everything, because believe it or not, the ban list does tend to screw over people and players. Especially if you have a deck that is really good, or that you think is good, but the ban list hits it for no reason. A good example of this would be Buster Blader. Myself, I play Buster Blader. The hit glow up bulb doesn't really do anything, so they shouldn't have hit it on the ban list for a while. It's like that's pretty stupid. Because irrelevant cards like that shouldn't get hit. I understand people abuse it, and it can be used to make certain like powerful synchros and stuff, and shout out to Team APS and Paul, because I agree with him on one thing. A lot of cards, they should have more limitations and restrictions. Not more, but just like more restrictions, and they should do what like Dinos do, what Atlanteans do, lock you into a certain archetype. Because if it locks you into a certain archetype, then, or locks you into a type or even an attribute, then it'll make some cards useless, like maybe not useless, but like you won't be able to mix decks as well. Number 5, promoting new products to new players. This is a big one. Promoting new products would definitely bring in new players. A lot of people, like a lot of new players, they're not gonna want to spend like $400 to $1,000 on a deck just to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Especially if people are like mentoring them and everything, teaching them. They're not gonna want to do all that. That's just way too much, especially with all the gimmicks and all the mechanics and the rulings and stuff you have to learn. And new products would also help out Konami too. And not even just for new players, like even for veteran players like me, and other people. Like, while they give new stuff to new players, like for existing veteran players, they could also do something like, I don't know, come out with better structured decks, starter decks. I mean, starter decks are for new players, so they could also give them that. Number 6, give new players access to top decks. I'm not saying give them, but just make it easier for them to access. If they really want to play Yu-Gi-Oh! That bad, and they're insistent on the top decks, the meta decks, and they want to jump right in, then Konami just give them easier access to it. Not just give it to them, but just make it easier for them to get, like more affordable, more like maybe even reprints. Number 7, Have decks maintain their price even with new support. Now, we all know this. Every time a new deck comes out, or every time a deck gets support, the prices skyrocket. I can understand it in a way that it's used more, it's more popular, but it's like the deck should maintain its price. And if it goes up, it should only go up by maybe a few dollars, because if a deck is like, I don't know, example, like $30, it should only go up to like maybe 40, 50. It shouldn't go up like to like 80. Just like cards, like individual cards that are like access code. Access code talker was like $80. And it's like people have to wait for the prices to go down on those because they're so expensive. It shouldn't be that way, especially for new players. New players aren't going to be drawn to that. There's a lot of things Konami has dropped the ball on that new players especially will not pick up the game. And if they do, it may be only temporary. But yeah, I wanted to go more in depth with how to fix the game and how to let, Konami know they dropped the ball in several places and how they did it. They're, again, like a lot of things that Konami has done, and also about Worlds too. I guess there was a recently Worlds that I guess Yugioh had just won Worlds not too long ago. It's like with the ban list again, they limit Snake Eyes, so it pushes the next deck up. Henceforth, Yugioh, and maybe Voiceless Voice or something like that. I think Dinos are in the top. I think they're like top 10. But tell me what you guys think about how to fix the game, and how to do it, and what you guys think Konami can do in the future. Hit like and subscribe, and as always, catch you on the flip side.